I don't see how that Huberdeau deal is ever going to give you any value. It's going to be a drag, not value. But God, if you could just get close to providing it at sea level.
Give me
but he's not going
75.
to if he's going to play with Lucic. Like, and I really think for all, like, we're squinting and trying to say, look, is Darryl maybe like smarter than we think? Daryl's fucking the dog on that second line.
You know what, though, Ryan? It hasn't been all year. He's played 42 games. He has 8 goals. He's on the power play.
I get it. I just think it's not going to happen there with Luch on the other side. It's not. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying he's a 90-point guy if it's someone else, but it's like you have a point per game 21-year-old doing things in the A that has never happened in your organization for someone of that age. You're talking about a top organizational prospect, a first rounder, and a guy who anyone with any comparable numbers at the same level is in the NHL or has had a long run in the NHL. They didn't even put him in. Like, that's a guy you need to see next to
They didn't give him effing exhibition games, did they? I can't remember, but I feel like he was on the other list and not even playing.
I am fearful that there's a large disconnect between the coach and GM, and I think looking at Jakob Pelletier's usage, it would be hard to suggest there isn't. Why would the GM call him up for a road trip with 5 games, one of which is a playoff team, and he doesn't get in? One playoff team on that whole fucking road trip, and he didn't get in. Last place team in the league, an afternoon game, 2 games in the same city. He didn't get in one.
Well, they would tell you it's in case of injury.
Well, I know why they carry extra bodies, but you could have had Zahorna up if you're not going to give this guy a game. And I don't think this is a GM problem. I think this kid should be playing, and I think he deserved the call-up. And I think in 31 other organizations, he's playing. This is a Darryl issue with kids.
It's not new, right? It's not. You go back to when he was here the first time, and everyone remembers 04, but remember, there were times even after that where he was no longer the coach and he was the GM, and how he kind of ran the team.
The draft and development was dog shit when he was the GM. It was absolutely awful. He does not nurture young talent well. And it's hard to build a case that he does. Any guys that are undersized or young on the team, he inherited. Like, Ruzicka's not young. He was drafted a long time ago, and he's a big 6'3", 220-pounder. Darryl has no problem putting that kind of guy in, even though he scratched him 9 of the first 10. But it's like, if you can't get a point per game first rounder in the American League who's young into your lineup, like, what does Jakob Pelletier have to do to get in? I don't understand.
I don't either. But I don't have 2 cup rings. I'm not.
No, but
like, I don't.
So are there other coaches that would be doing it this way? I can't think of one.
But the problem is that, not a problem. I'm in agreement with you, and I love Darryl because Darryl was great to me, and he helped my career and blah, blah, blah. But also, we've complained about how they're doing, and they've put up a bunch of points, and like, it was a 5-game point streak, right? Like, so his philosophy to us isn't right. How can't you get young guys in there? Blah, blah, blah. And then it turns out they're in the playoffs and they're actually doing okay. Now, I expected.
Yeah, but the expectation wasn't get in or be a wild card. The expectation was home ice here. So he has undershot expectations this year with this crew and how he's used them. I think he's used his second best goalie too often, and he hasn't used skill when it's been available to him coming up from the American League.
I don't disagree.
So I'm not here to say Darryl saved it with his genius coaching. I think there's a system that works. I think there's a style of play that works. I think he's mismanaged the roster significantly to the point where they should be in a home ice slot if they'd use their better goalie and put their skilled players in better spots, use their young guys. Like you were saying it, why can't we see Lindholm and Huberdeau a little more?